Choose everything she says is truth. If you don't know, now you know. All you ever gotta say is heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that. Look, all you ever gotta say.
About basketball, nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, you know. Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. Do you realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check? 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
Thank you, Heard That Nation. And thank you for tuning in, listening in the United States and around the world. I hate opening up my show that way because this is a show where it's about sports, movies, and entertainment. That was Tuesday night before Game 4 of the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. That was Coach Steve Kerr. And that was the most talked about conversation before a shot was made, a foul was called, of the whistle blown, of all the things that was happening, and those that are now aware of all the events that unfortunately took place in Uvalde, Texas. As an adoptee daughter, as I call myself, a little over 7 years now of Texas. I live near the Dallas area. Uvalde is outside, 85 miles outside of San Antonio. We're here again. We're here again with the school shootings. I believe I was watching news reports. This is the 27th one of any kind of shootings of school or clubs or anything of that nature. 27. We're not even in the month of June yet, ladies and gentlemen. 19 young lives gone, 2 brilliant educators gone. The stories from parents themselves or family members or those that knew the people that lost their lives, of a coward, of a person that was able to purchase guns here in the state of Texas on his 18th birthday. caused harm to his grandmother, then caused harm to the students in Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. And Steve Kerr, his words, and I watched it live. I watched it live when he was doing this post conference. I happened to go into the other room because we have multiple TVs here. My husband was watching another program at the time, and I happened to have it on in the other room that I was in, and was watching his words of what he said, and it's getting exhausted. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to hear about how many more lives have to be, how many more names we have to add to the list of people that have been taken away from this world due to gun violence. How many young lives. You hear so many stories, and I think of the people, I think of the parents that lived this 10 years ago in Sandy Hook. I think of the students that dealt with this on February 14th at Marjorie Government High School. Hopefully I'm saying that name right, of the students that was lost there. I'm thinking of all the people that had to just bury their loved ones in Buffalo, New York, at Tops grocery store while they were getting groceries. And it continues to be on and on and on. And it's just like, I was so prepared to come on here and talk about, game 4. And it took me a couple of days to just process this. Game 5 is tonight with the Mavs that finally got on the board. But we'll see if they can make it an interesting series. Game 5 is at the Bay tonight, Thursday night, against the Golden State Warriors. Why? When does this end? When is it enough? When is it enough? When does it stop? Steve Kerr brilliantly called out those that are there, the senators, and that they're in Congress of gun control and gun reform. And again, like I said, I'm here in the state of Texas, and this weekend, we're near the end of May. This weekend is supposed to be the NRA convention, which is still scheduled. I was watching the conference. I was watching the news conference with Governor Greg Abbott and his cabinet and constituents, and some of the Texas Rangers folks there, and the sheriffs and Senator Cruz and all of them that were there. And one of the journalists had asked, you are going to postpone, you postponed various events. Robb Elementary School, as well as neighboring schools, are canceled and done for the rest of the year, with Friday actually marking the final day for school for many of these students. And now they do not even get to have that, let alone nearby high schools that were supposed to celebrate their high school achievements. That is postponed. And they are going to announce a further date, or date when it will be taking place. Journalists asked Governor Greg Abbott when or if he was going to cancel or postpone the NRA, and then follow up with a question of, well, are you going to attend it? And basically gave a half-hearted answer. You can look this up online, and just basically didn't say no, but didn't say yes. And 90% of my gut watching that thing, I knew that it was going to still take place. It's sad that we have come to this realization that profit and money matters over lives. And they can say the same story, the same words over again, thoughts and prayers, and they can say, we're thinking of these families and everything else. But when is it going to be where the Democrats and the Republicans, the senators that were voted into representing the various states in the United States, when is it that they're going to come together and see that enough is enough? That we at least have, if not every month, it has been every month, at least every month, either multiple times a month, I've talked about a gunman going into a nightclub, a game, a school, a grocery store, a party. When is it going to be where enough is enough, and that gun reform comes in, and that these things are when's it going to stop? When is it going to stop? I had to many times, multiple times. I mean, I sat through hours and hours of, just praying and hoping that these kids were going to be okay. And I went to bed and I think I took a nap, and it was like 2 people that lost their lives. And I was like, God, please no more. And woke up and it was 10. And then hours later, it was 15. And then it went to 18, and then now 19 students. And then at the time, it was 1 teacher. And then they said 3 adults, and then found out that it was a second teacher that passed, another teacher that was in the hospital. Like I said, the grandmother was in there, and there's 3 other students that are still in the hospital with various reports saying from critical condition to stable condition to good condition. It is a wash, rinse, repeat cycle, and we're being seen by other countries that have had tragedies like this, that have done something about it, where they have, made the rules tougher for those who go and purchase a gun. This individual was 18 years old. On his birthday, decided to go get 2 AR-15, AR weapons. When does this end? When does this stop? When is it going to be enough? Does another killing have to justifiably for these people in the Senate and in the Congress and those that are the leaders of this country? What does it take for both sides to come to a resolution and say, this is enough, we need to do something about it? And those that purchase guns. What is the cabinet here in the state of Texas going to do something about this? Of course, you got people that have guns in their households, and they're saying guns are there to protect and all of that, and I get all that, I do. But when you allow anybody and any Joe Schmo and any person of the 18-year-old that's going to go and then seeing the alarming stuff that was posted on television from his phone, he was texting somebody in Germany about what he was going to do, and he was upset over an argument that he had with his grandmother, and then just went step by step of what he was going to do. Cause harm to his grandmother, then cause harm to a school. And it happened. Steve Kerr has every right to speak out about that, more so than any other person, because it happened to him and it happened to his father when he was 18 years old. His father in 1984, January 1984, Malcolm Kerr, was killed by guns. And you can hear the emotion in his voice, and you can hear the anger in his voice. And I felt like that he represented so many people. I will never understand. I cannot relate. I cannot fathom, because I am not a parent. I can't fathom what a parent goes through of a loss of a child, let alone a loss of a child to gun violence. I can't imagine that. I can't put myself in their shoes. I'm not a parent. But I speak to every parent and those that have lost their loved one, and they're lost their child in such a horrendous way, such as this, and offer the deepest condolences that I can give. They need all the strength in the world, but they need answers. They need answers on when this is going to end and when this gun control issue is going to take place, so that they don't have to drop their kid off at school and say, we'll pick you up at 3. And then you got film footage of these parents saying, I need to get into school and get my kid out of there. I need to get what's going on. Somebody give me some answers. And, you got all kinds of chaos that's going on outside of that school. And you see the tears, and you see the hugs, and you see but most of it is the why. How did this happen? How come my kid doesn't feel safe going to school? Just listening to the amount of stories that I have, and talking to so many people on social media and in the chats that I've had, and I was trying to process all of this because I was, going to jump on my regular time and talk about, some recaps of some games and everything else and the upcoming movies that's coming out. Because the screening, I was going to go and screen Top Gun Maverick and, share about that and all that. But all of that is set aside to say this, and I'll end it with this. As Steve Kerr brilliantly put it, there's all these senators, 50 senators in there, there's 50 leaders that were voted in there. Something has to be done. Something has to be done. The senator that was the senator of Connecticut had called out his constituents and said, "What are we doing?" And this was at the time when it was counted as 14 people that were killed at the time. And then obviously, the numbers that are in now. And I believe there was Democratic Senator Chris Murphy, I believe, of Connecticut, saying, "What are we doing?" And I asked the question, as many Americans that are here in the United States, what are you doing? How are we making this better? How are we going to feel safer walking around our neighborhoods, going to concerts, going to venues, going to ballparks, going to games, going to school? What are you doing? What are you going to do now that all of this has taken place and many people are still in the state of shock? That town is never going to be the same again. Buffalo, New York with the shooting is never going to be the same again. Many of the areas that have been affected by gun violence, Aurora, Colorado, in that movie theater years ago, they will never be the same again. Sandy Hook Elementary School, they will never be the same again. But those that have unfortunately been at that part of the horrific thing that happened in their life that changed their lives has now gotten and been in action to do something about it. So as Steve Kerr asked, Coach Steve Kerr asked, and as well as myself and as well as many people, senators, leaders of Congress, what are we going to do? What are you going to do about it? That's all I wanted to know. That's all I want to know. It's just horrible opening up and talking about this on the podcast, where again, I appreciate everybody's support coming through here, and I do my best to make it a positive show and make it to be where people have responded and talk sports with people, and I've had various guests on here share their stories and laugh together, learn together. But this has been a cycle that has been going on too long, that needs to come to an end. So people of Congress, it's up to you. You've been voted in by the people, the voting. We vote. We believe that you're going to make a difference and change the laws to make the United States safer. And it is falling on deaf ears, and that's unfortunate. Breaking news coming in just recently within the hour, actor Ray Liotta has passed away at the age of 67. If you are a fan of Ray Liotta like I am, I posted up something in my favorite movies that he was in. Obviously, Shoeless Joe Jackson in Field of Dreams. I love that movie. I love this character in the movie. That's what made me fall in love with his acting abilities. But I loved him also in John Q as the tough sergeant that he played in there. Everybody knows him from Goodfellas, for sure. I mean, he blew up with that movie as well. Just an overall brilliant actor. He was working on a project in the Dominican Republic when news reports had broken out that he had passed away in his sleep at the age of 67. He was filming a movie called Dangerous Waters. So that is the amount of information that is out at this time. He has been in so many movies, and another movie that I liked him in was Wild Hogs 2, where he was playing the competition, not the competition, but the rival motorcycle gang in the movie, and it was kind of comical and everything. So it's sad. 67, way too young, lost a legend, lost a movie legend. Ray Liotta, praying for thoughts and prayers and condolences to his family as well. Be good to one another. Heard that, nation. It's exhausting. I know it is. I thank everybody for their support. I thank everybody for their comments and conversations that we continue to have, especially with this topic here. Again, you know, I am a person that talks about sports, movies, entertainment, and sheds a spotlight on mental health and wellness. I hope that the leaders just stop making excuses about, you know, this is a mental health thing and we need to focus on that, and they put their actions behind of what they say, because it needs to happen. And I can only hope you know, everybody gets out there. Obviously in November is the voting elections are coming up, so that everybody gets out there and has their voice being heard. But it is almost June. It's summertime, kids are out, and many of these families right now today are hurting because their lives have been shattered into 1,000 pieces, and it has been altered, and I just, you know, offer my condolences to them. So I ask you to spend more time with your families, call them, talk to them. I pray that everybody has a wonderful day. And again, thank you so much for your support. And as I always end the show, be good to one another. Take care. My microphone just fell. Please stay safe.